us now, the governor of Delaware, John Carney. Governor Carney, thanks for joining us. As you know, your fellow governors in all 50 states now have now decided to begin reopening, at least partially. What does this pivotal moment mean from your perspective for the nation, and what does it mean for Delaware?
Yeah, for us here in Delaware, it means that our message has to be strong, that as we move to reopen sectors of our economy, really to phase one there on June the 1st, this weekend, in a limited way, lifting restrictions on our beaches, allowing retailers today to sell curbside delivery. And so it's a gradual rolling reopening. We've been following the science and the guidelines from the CDC. We do have declining percent positive cases on a day-to-day basis over a 14-day period of time. And most importantly, as we've discussed before, our hospitalization rate is down by 25%, has consistently moved down even as we fought an outbreak of COVID-19 among poultry workers in the lower part of our state. So my message to Delawareans is social distancing is working, but now's not the time to let up. As we gradually reopen our economy, let's focus on staying safe, wearing masks, keeping distant from one another, no large gatherings. And so if we work together, if we think about our neighbor and that our actions affect our neighbor, then we're going to get through this together and we'll be able to open safely.
Those precautionary steps are so critical. Governor, CNN is also learning that the CDC director's job is apparently now on the line. At the same time, the president is once again defending his decision to take hydroxychloroquine despite the FDA saying it's not necessarily been shown to be effective against coronavirus. What message do you believe this sends to your residents about how much faith they should have right now in the health policy coming from the Trump administration?
Yeah, it's exactly the wrong message. You know, we need reliable, consistent leadership at the federal, state, and local level. We need to have consistent messaging, and we need leaders who lead by example, who wear masks in public. I heard an early report on that, who keep social distance when they're in public, who encourage people to think about others, to wear a mask, not so much to protect yourself, but to protect folks that are around you. And so it's just kind of bizarre, some of the things that we're seeing there with respect to taking that drug there.
In your state of Delaware, you extended your stay-at-home order until May 31st. But starting today, as you know, retail establishments can open by appointment. On Friday, restrictions, as you point out, will be lifted on the state's very popular beaches. What led you, Governor, to feel comfortable about taking these initial steps to reopen Delaware before you lift the actual stay-at-home order?
Yeah, so it was really that gating criteria that we got recommended from the CDC and our local public health officials, and the idea that we could achieve these modest interim steps, allowing businesses to get some revenue as long as we kept them safe with various precautionary measures, face wearing, curbside delivery, appointment by or sales by appointment only, those kinds of things, and that way rolled into the opening there on June 1st. You know, my biggest concern, obviously, is lifting some of the restrictions on the beaches. The people in the region love Delaware beaches. Delawareans love Delaware beaches. Now's not the time to come back in a wild kind of way and kind of storm the beach. Now's the time to enjoy a walk on the beach. Put your feet in the sand and in the water, but do it separate from folks around you. And we're going to limit access, and we've got a lot of messaging out there. And that's really what we need to lean into as leaders and as government officials, is getting that information out to folks about how to be safe and keep your neighbors safe as well.
Well, how will you enforce what you want everyone to do, the social distancing, the wearing of masks, the capacity limits on the beaches, especially coming up for this very popular Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah, so first it's education, it's the signage. We're going to have what we're calling beach ambassadors. We borrowed that from another place around the country, folks that go up to individuals and tell them what the appropriate behavior is, hopefully folks will follow that guidance. Ultimately, we'll have enforcement mostly driven by complaints. We will have Delaware State Police on the roadways with respect to the 14-day out-of-state quarantine, reminding folks of their obligation there. And then we'll roll into the next weekend, learn from the experience of this weekend. Last weekend, we saw where people were really following the rules. There weren't big crowds on the beach. Of course, it was under a different set of restrictions, but people were following the rules. We'll see what happens over Memorial Day weekend. It's a big weekend, as you know, and then make decisions for the weekends after that.
Good luck, Governor Carney. I know it's going to be a busy weekend for you, and a lot's at stake right now, as all of us know. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf.
Coming up, we'll